Welcome back. We're still reviewing The Punch.
So I have the JAM story, and this is very, very pleasing to my heart because, you know, we took the JAM story as a hot topic here, and we're asking JAM to check their processes. But JAM did. They said after they analyzed the process and conduct of the previous examination, they have now, you know, decided to reschedule examination for 24,535 candidates.
Wow.
Because they found out some centers where there were proof of non-substantial compliance to their standards at those centers. They've rescheduled the exam for Tuesday, the 4th of June. Sorry. The rescheduled candidates are to print their supplementary examination notification from Tuesday, the 4th of June to ascertain their designated exam centers. And the exam itself will take place on the 22nd of June in 2 weeks. This is, of course, to give the candidates time again to prepare for the exams. This is according to JAM spokesperson Fabian Benjamin. They also announced the release of 3,921 outstanding results from the past exams that we also reviewed on the show. And, of course, they found 300 and something people whose cases well clearly stated to have been a fraud.
Wow.
Because, you know, the faces who registered for the exam are completely different from those
people that came to write it.
Came to write the exam. So 322 candidates have been migrated from this category into an examination misconduct, and they are going to face a body to establish their culpability before, you know, action will be taken.
It's a good one.
Taken to court.
Yeah, I have a story.
I'm taking the story about the CBN clearing the debt. So the International Air Travel Association, IATA, they represent all the airlines, have said that Nigeria has totally cleared up the $831 million, which were trapped in Nigeria for a long time, belonging to foreign airlines. So in the height of this, around June last year, it was $850 million. But right now, they cleared it up to the point that, as at last month, May, it was just $19 million remaining, and they've paid up that $19 million. So the Director General of IATA, Willie Walsh, announced a statement on Sunday appreciating the Nigerian government, the new Nigerian government, for the effort in ensuring that they cleared out that debt, especially because it had been happening maybe before the administration came in, but it became worse when the devaluation of the Naira. They said a lot of this has adversely affected international airlines because they couldn't get their funds out and it affected their business. But now that the fund has gone out, another country that was heavily affected by this fund being locked is Egypt. Both Nigeria and Egypt had their money devalued. And because they devalued the money, to fulfill dollar-related expense became a bit more difficult than before. So, but we're happy they've done this. This is something they said they would do, and now they've done it. So we applaud the government for doing it, and we hope it will put us in good standing with IATA and other foreign airlines going forward.
Yeah. Let's move on now to Vanguard. Major headline: Fuel, schools, banks, others to be shut as strike begins today. Wando announces 74.7 billion profits after tax as turnover rises by 71%. Zenith Bank emerges most sustainable bank in Nigeria. The problem with Tinubu's misfiring leadership by Akin Osutoki. Nigeria must leverage national assets to attract forex inflow. This is by Teriba. Anxiety as federal government borrows 20.1 trillion naira under Tinubu. Gencos cry out over 3.7 trillion naira debts. World Cup qualifier Super Eagles camp sparkles. And this one, for me, education is basically the development of societal values for the continuation and progress of society and humanity. What stories do we have in the Vanguard?
So I have the International Bankers Award. This for 2024, and most sustainable bank in Nigeria goes to Zenith Bank.
Rocher.
And the award was received well by the bank and commented on by their group managing director, CEO, Dame Dr. Adora Umeoji, who new coming, and she's resuming today at the head office. She said, we are deeply honored to be recognized as the most sustainable bank in Nigeria for the second time in a row. And this prestigious award underscores our steadfast commitment to sustainability and reinforces our belief that responsible banking is essential for long-term success. She then dedicated the award to the founder and chairman of Zenith Bank PLC, Dr. Jim Ovia. That's basically it.
Let's say they work for this bank by proxy.
And
You smile on
I'm
your
married
face.
to the bank now. It's not news.
All right, what other stories in
Yes,
Vanguard?
I've got the Abuja Power Generation Companies in Nigeria, GenCos, yesterday raised the alarm over imminent collapse of their operations following a huge debt of 2 trillion and an estimated funding gap of 1.7 trillion contained in their 2024 multi-year tariff order. So they say GenCos are currently owed over 2 trillion for power they generated but put onto the national grid and consumed by end users. This is in addition to the over 1.7 trillion funding gap created in the recent supplementary MITO order without a designated fund to fill the gap. This huge debt outlay is inhibiting GenCo's ability to meet their obligations to lenders, O&M operations, necessary maintenance, spare parts, procurements, and employee-related obligations. They said that GenCo's expectations of being settled through external support, such as the World Bank, PSRO, has also dampened due to other market participants' inability to meet their respective distribution. As we know, the Minister for Power disclosed that the President approved the payment plan for debt owed to gas suppliers and GenCos that would involve immediate cash payment and promissory notes. But the GenCos appear not to be satisfied with this and are demanding that the federal government present a clear payment plan to clear the debt. Yeah.
Any other story?
Yes, so the managing director for the Niger Delta Development Commission, Mr. Samuel Ogboku, has said that the Niger Delta, though very endowed, as we know, with a lot of natural resources, is still largely undeveloped. According to him, he was while speaking at an event at Calabar Cross River, where they were launching ferry services between Calabar, Uyo, which is in Akwa Ibom State. A partnership to ensure that waterways will become a major means of transportation, was talking about the fact that there is no poor infrastructure, lack of education, unemployment, were key issues why the Niger Delta is largely underdeveloped. And it was lauding this new project, the ferry service between Calabar and Uyo, that a lot of Niger Delta area is filled with water, and it costs a whole lot to start putting road infrastructure. And even if you put road infrastructure will take a long time before you move from one location to the other. But if you use waterways, places that will take you just few minutes, you're already in the area, and that water transport is natural, is God-given, and we will spend less hours commuting from one community to the other. So he's applauding them and saying they would continue to support that initiative. Then the Senator Asukwo Ekweyong, representing the Southern Senatorial District of Cross River, said that they were also, this is like an historical moment for Cross River and Akwa Ibom doing business together, and that he's looking forward to more collaboration and having more ferries to ease transportation between the riverine communities.
Okay, the last paper for today, Nigerian Tribune. Let's just take stories we haven't taken. Food inflation, consumers, traders lament as FCCPC visit Lagos markets. Who has that story?
I do.
Okay.
So what do we have? The federal agency in charge of ensuring consumer rights are not violated in the country. That's the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC. They commenced a tour of some major markets across the country, and the reason was to find out why prices of goods, were just increasing in spite of government's, interventions. And the some of the markets they visited were in Ado-Ekiti, Katsina, Bauchi, and in Lagos as well. And some of the feedback they got. So here in Lagos, at Mile 12 Market, they spoke to the leadership of the Mile 12 Market, and he says that, first of all, they've heard this story where they're saying that traders are hoarding to create false scarcity. He says most of the goods that are traded at the Mile 12 Market are perishable goods, so he does not know of any individual trader that can afford to do that. But what they can say is that most of the farmers are now at IDP camps because of insecurity. Oh. And so the amount of food we used to get from the north, we don't get reduced. That. There used to be a time when a basket was 2,000 and a little bit above that, because you had so much of the tomatoes and pepper, in the markets. But now you don't see eat. There's no. So if we can handle insecurity, definitely more people will go back to their farms. Then another market to their own was. They said that what they noticed that happened with them is the fuel subsidy removal, and so that caused all sorts of, it affected transportation, logistics, cost of transportation and logistics. And so with that, it has affected, prices of food as well. So now government has heard, from the ground, from these traders to see, now they will see in what other ways that they can intervene to help with the prices.
Thank you, ladies. That's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we return, we look into the top stories of today. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.